Coming up, me and Gizmo enjoy a fantastic night of eating and walking and driving and trying to sleep all over the place. Our vehicle of choice was the world's best car, the Skoda Fabia, which acted as our bedroom, our kitchen, and of course, our transport. Being my first adventure into car camping, I decided that I was just going to go and enjoy the experience. Whatever would happen would happen, so I took loads of extra stuff and planned to do loads of videos while we were out and about, talking about all sorts of things from tarps to fire safety, which is why I took 3 stoves with me, by the way. This was an idea that didn't quite work. I thought it'd be a cool view from inside the car looking forwards, but because the roads are so bumpy but the camera stabilisation so good, the actual interior of the car jostles around so much that too much of that footage is quite sickening, to be honest. So we pulled up to a nice little secluded spot on the outskirts of Llangollen, and off up into the hills we went, just for a very brief walk because it was too far for Gizmo to be really doing much in that heat. Hopefully this next shot, zooming out from the ruins of Dinisbran Castle to reveal the whole of the Vale of Llangollen, should sum up why I love this area so much. And in this weather, what more could you ask for? I just wanted to highlight these 2 masts because we will be on the far side of the valley later on, trying to find somewhere to sleep over in those hills. But yeah, what a day. Good boy. As I said earlier, this was all about just experimenting and seeing how it all went, and as such I took loads of unnecessary items with me, and I thought I'll take the camo netting just to record a stupid TikTok video joke about trying to disguise the car. It wasn't that funny, I'll admit, and also I filmed it in widescreen and then of course realised it needed to be vertical for TikTok, and then had to redo it all with people driving past thinking, why is there a lad trying desperately to camouflage a car with about 2 metres worth of netting? On a far more sensible note, I did test out some tarp setups with the car, but I really needed a little bit more cordage to make everything work, and I think actually maybe a smaller tarp would have worked better. It was at this point that I realised my idea of making a bit of a lean-to or an awning for the car with the tarp would have made much more sense had I have remembered to pack a camping chair with me or anything to sit on outside of the car. So after wasting so much time doing all that stuff to ultimately make no extra videos other than this one, I decided that we better get something to eat. So we headed back down away from all of the highly flammable countryside, and we were just using a little gas top. We weren't using anything that was going to create embers or ashes or anything like that. And we found a little lay-by to set up in, and I got my pasta boiled and it was all good. And well, some people turned up who I thought may have been doing some kind of business, we'll say. So I thought we'll just move around to another car park. However, on coming to edit this video, about the 10 minutes of footage of me actually setting up and boiling up the food, well, I don't think I actually pressed record on the camera, so that's embarrassing. Anyway, so I'd been hoping to be up there on that side of the valley by the time the sun set, because we'd have had an absolutely epic view of the sun going down behind the castle ruins that we saw earlier. Instead, I wasted so much time messing around trying to do these other videos that ended up not happening, that the sun set long before we had a chance to get up there, so I thought, just for a bit of a novelty, we'll drive down to Llangollen itself. So we had a little run around on the rocks by the river, of course being very careful and sensible. By this time the light was rapidly fading, so I decided we better find our way up into the hills that we actually wanted to spend the night in, and in typical fashion, the one time I'm actually trying to do something serious is about the only time I've really ever got lost out here. Here's a quick situation update then. As you can see, the light has long since left us. We're parked up in what I describe as a little car park in a hidey hole out of sight, out of mind, right next to the woodland, which I don't particularly want to stay at for too long because this looks to me like the sort of car park I might not be alone all of the time at, if that makes any sense, for the sake of keeping it very, very mild. After consulting the oracle that is Google Maps for a while, I decided that as I went through the village, if I kept going left, sooner or later I would turn up somewhere that looked familiar. And I'll be honest that once I was out of the village and going down roads that look like this, although I love these places and it was lovely to stumble across a pair of hares out in the wild, I did start to think, where am I? Is this the same bit of road I've been down 20 times? But as you can see, eventually I came up onto the open hillside and we saw the mocking spectacle of the last bit of light from a long set sun. On a serious note, though, this is a fantastic little spot, and yeah, all sorts of people coming up here with McDonald's, enjoying the view, and goodness knows what else. And Gizmo was very keen to get out and go for a walk, but in typical fashion, on a random weekday night in the middle of nowhere, of course, within about 3 minutes of me parking up, lo and behold, a car comes and parks up in the next lay-by ahead, and I started to feel like perhaps I wasn't so secluded, and perhaps the other car park hadn't been such a bad place to be. Okay, so this is what I'm currently thinking. I'm gonna undo this and just have it like a blanket sort of wrapped over the top of me, which means if I need to clear off sharpish, I'll have my feet free to start manipulating the pedals and making a quick getaway. I can lean back relatively far, but of course it's nowhere near like being fully reclined. However, I need some sort of pillow thing, so I'm gonna have to start trying to make a pillow out of a tarp or something. Oh, Giz, come on, back on your side. After messing around with the bedding setup, we decided it was time to disappear off into the proper wilderness and especially leave that other car behind. These are those two masts we saw from the far side of the valley, just to prove we really were driving around everywhere this night. And I'm not just filming this in the space of about 3 different laybys on the same stretch of road. And at this point, would it be correct of me to say that I accidentally took a wrong turning and ended up all the way back down in Llangollen and had to drive back up into the hills again? Well, you'll never know, I'm afraid. I'll keep this quick because a lot has been going on tonight. I am now somewhere that at the very least I would describe as out of the way, and the state of the roads that I've driven down to get here is absolutely shocking. I mean, they've always been bad, but I'm sure they're deteriorating in general quality and stability. Yeah, so hopefully nobody's going to be driving past or walking past out here, fingers crossed. I think I'm going to spin the car around so we're facing that direction and I can really tuck it away off the road properly. Gizmo doesn't want to be in the car at the minute, or at the very least, as soon as the car stops, he wants to get straight out, even with all of the walking and adventures that we've had along the way this evening. So what I think I'll do is just spin the car around and then give him maybe half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to walk around. Then if he gets a bit chilly, hopefully he'll come in the car and settle down, and that'll be that. Wish us luck. Turning the car around and then going for a little walk, we got to really enjoy some rural peace, and my goodness is it quiet in places like this. In typical fashion though, I realised that we were in direct line of sight, although quite a distance away from one of the local farmhouses, and I did actually see lights flashing around like torchlight, and I was worried that all of the movement and turning the car had alerted somebody, but luckily it looks like they were just checking on the garden or the vehicles, because that appears to be an outdoor security light that just switched off there. So yeah, always something to think about. Well, this is certainly interesting. It's now 1 o'clock. You might be able to tell Gizmo is jostling me around here because as soon as I've started trying to speak to the camera, he's obviously woken up. He's been half lying on me and moving between the two seats. I've obviously had absolutely zero sleep at this point. I've probably been trying Oh, we've lost the light here. Hang on. I've been trying to get to sleep properly for about half an hour, just lying here in darkness and stillness and silence. But I haven't even... Oh, it's just a reflection of my glasses then. Flipping heck, I thought there were lights approaching from the back. So... I've totally lost it here. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, Giz. Are you going to settle? So I definitely need to figure out a proper pillow situation for the car. You may see Gizmo panting a little bit there, and to be honest, it's not cool in here at all. It is surprisingly warm, so I'll have to open the windows a little bit and get all the lights off to try and not encourage any more flies in. But even this very feeble, flimsy sleeping bag that I've got is only draped over my middle part. It isn't properly wrapped around me as I envisioned I would be. So I gave it another hour of being sat in absolute darkness and silence, and unfortunately, Gizmo just was not settling. He'd settle down and look like he was completely out of it for a couple of minutes, then something would distract him and he'd get up and crawl onto me so he could look out of the window properly. Sorry, I thought that the clock was still on the dashboard on that shot. I think it was about 20 past 2 when I decided to call it a day. Now, overall, I'm happy with this experiment. I've certainly taken a lot away from how much time I wasted during the daylight hours, and know not to try and overdo it with what I want to get done while I'm out and about, even having the car to travel at a much faster speed than my boots will allow me to. And I also know that I personally am more than happy to go to sleep in a car out in these remote places. However, Gizmo's just the weak link in this, and when I was first trying to get him to sleep in a bivy bag with me, we had a similar problem that he just could not settle. So maybe I'll try it again with him. Maybe I'll let him sit the car camping out. But all in all, what a wonderful night. Thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe and check out my other videos for loads more stuff like this. Please consider supporting the channel by becoming a PayPal supporter, a channel member, a Facebook subscriber, leaving a super thanks and so on, just like some of my recent supporters. Art V, Jessica L, Steve B, John B, Melissa L, Sean B, BL Beach, Dawn H, A Sanford, T Seymour, David D, and Kaz G. Thank you very much, everybody. It really means a lot to me. Until the next time, keep it interesting, keep it car worthy, have a fantastic day, and of course, farewell.